Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a great day. I do want to take a minute to say thank you for watching my prior videos. I really do appreciate everybody taking the time to stop by and check them out. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are doing the palette tag. Now, I was just watching Smokey Glow's palette tag video as I was getting ready to do this video. I've also watched Teresa is Dead's palette tag video. Both of them I will leave in the description box to go check out. I'm sure everybody knows who they are. If you don't, check them out. The palette tag. This is by Samantha March and ALLIE GLINES. This was a TikTok trend that hit YouTube. So in doing so, of course I wanted to jump on it. It's eyeshadow palettes. Who doesn't want to talk about their eyeshadow palettes? But Samantha's and ALLIE's channels will also be down in the description box so that you can check out their videos also. So there are 13 questions. All 13 questions stem around eyeshadow palettes. It is a show your fill in the blank. So we are just going to start. I do have my stack of palettes right here. It was very interesting going through my collection to answer these questions. I am just a little over a year and a half maybe old to the YouTube makeup game. So I'm a little late, but I'm here and have put my all into it, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and start. These are just my assumptions out of my collection on my eyeshadow palettes to answer these questions. If you disagree, that is fine. It's makeup. We can all argue about something else. It's not that serious. So, on the first one, it is show your newest palette. So, with my newest palette, I did just get a few new palettes, but my newest to the beauty community is the way that I did mine, and that is the Melt 420 palette. Now this, I am new to Melt. This is what it looks like. It is a very pretty palette. It is very difficult to work with, although I am still playing in it and I will get the hang of it. But this is what it looks like. It is a neutral grunge. Everybody's dream, if that's your thing. This is definitely a palette that you should check out. I enjoy it. The colors in it, for being a neutral, natural based color story, I really enjoy this palette. So that is our first one. My second question is show your oldest palette. Now I do have some palettes that are older in the beauty realm of when they came out, but I'm going to go with my oldest palette in my collection, as I said. And that is the 35V Morphe palette. This is the palette I started my channel with. This is the first palette that I bought from Ulta. So I still do use it. This is what it looks like. There are multiple colors in here to do multiple looks. I really enjoy this palette, and it's rather special just because it is my first palette to my collection, and my collection has grown so much, but I still reach for this palette. Even with all the other eyeshadows that I have, I still reach for this palette. So that is my oldest collection, my oldest palette in my collection. The next one is, number 3 is your most expensive palette. That is my Natasha Denona Love palette. This is also a relatively new palette to me. So new that I have not even touched it. I haven't swatched it. I haven't put my fingers in it. It is still its whole beautifulness that it is. This is what it looks like. Like I said, I was never one to think, oh, I need a Natasha Denona palette, because frankly, they're a little overpriced, and I know I say that, and then I buy Jeffree Star palettes, but Jeffree Star Cosmetics is my favorite brand, hands down. I have not met another brand that I have fallen in love with like Jeffree Star's. So, the Love palette by Natasha Denona is my most expensive palette. Now, my most affordable palette, which is the next number 4, I went with a bigger palette that is still quite affordable. This is Profusion. This is my Wanderlust palette. You can get these at Walmart. I think they are under $15. It does come with a brush. Of course, I did take that out. But you get an array of colors. And from what I have used from Profusion, it's good quality. Let's do a shimmer and a matte for y'all. So I did a purple, and then of course a silver metal color, because that is what my eyes go to. So there is the shimmer. And there is the matte. So like I said, they are pretty. You can get a good look out of it and not break the bank. Which we all want to have that nice, pretty makeup that we go to, but we don't want to spend a ton on makeup. And makeup is expensive. It is. The more I get into it, the more I spend on it. So, Profusion was my most affordable brand that I went with. Number 5, my everyday palette. Now, if I come in here and I don't know what I want to wear for the day, this is the palette that I always go to. Doesn't matter if I want to go out for the day and I don't want to do a whole lot of makeup, or I need to do my face or my eyes real quick. It is Jeffree Star's Androgyny palette. I absolutely love this palette. This is my number 2 in my Jeffree Star rundown of palettes. This is his second palette release, and this is what that palette looks like. And it is his take on a natural palette. I love this palette. It blends great. The colors in it are just fantastic. And this is my go-to. I wouldn't say it was my everyday makeup palette, but if I come in here and, like I said, need a palette to use for a look, this is the one that I'm reaching for always. With as many eyeshadow palettes that I have, I don't really have an everyday palette. Another one that I reach for is my ABH Soft Glam palette. Number 6 is your most colorful palette. Now, I know I have the Jawbreaker. My daughter owns the James Charles palette. But for my most colorful palette, I went with the Me, Myself, and Mama Mitchell palette. Again, this is a relatively new palette to me. So new that, yes, I know, I haven't played in this one either. I will be, but I haven't yet. But this is what that palette looks like for an array of colors. I mean, there's not a color in there that you can think of that isn't in there, is what I'm trying to say. Can't talk today. I do apologize. I don't know, but it's there. It's real. But that is the palette, and it is colorful. It's so pretty. So pretty. So for most colorful, that is the one I picked. Oh, and then I about dropped it. Okay, number 7, my smallest palette. Now, my smallest palette is the Wet n Wild Bed of Roses palette. This is an adorable palette. It has 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. I absolutely love this palette. The colors in it are I always get the grungy vampire vibe when I use this, which is funny because I'm using the lipstick that goes to this on my lips today. It just makes a beautiful look. I love the colors in it. It's just pretty. For my smallest palette, I do gravitate towards this palette quite a bit. And that is a couple of swatches from that palette. It's just pretty. Number 8, your biggest palette. Now, I didn't know which way to take this. I didn't know if it was the biggest packaging or the biggest palette for shadows. So that's the way I did it. I went with my palette with the most shadows, and it is my 39A Morphe Dare to Create palette. Like I said, my daughter does have the James Charles palette. That is not a palette that I myself gravitate to. I just don't ever hardly use it. But this is my biggest palette. And it has some very cute, pretty colors in here. This middle row is all natural. It's a great palette. For somebody starting out, I would highly recommend this palette. It is super beginner friendly, and it's got the colors that you can play with that won't stain your eyes, won't have you running for the heels of, oh, I can't use that color, or I could never. This palette completely takes you out of that and puts you in a comfort zone. So 39A palette by Morphe is an amazing palette. Number 9 is show your palette with the best memory. Now, my palette with the best memory was between 2. The Big Monsieur Heart palette from Lancome was a very dear gift to me from my husband. I love that palette. But my husband spoils me all the time, so I didn't think it was fair to put him on the pedestal per se. He's usually up there anyway. So I went with my ABH Norvina Volume 3 palette. This was a gift to me from Miss Jeannie at Get This Glowing when I hit my 1K subscribers on YouTube. And of course I have it upside down. When I hit my 1K on YouTube. So this is a very special palette to me simply because Jeannie sent it to me. Outside of orange is my favorite color, butterflies remind me of my Bonnie. I really wanted this palette when it came out. I even entered giveaways to try to win this palette. And then she sent it to me and was such a blessing. So this palette holds a very, very special place in my heart. Simply because of Miss Jeannie sending it to me. This is what that palette looks like. It is a $60 palette. It is just beautiful. I know that it looks like a box of chiclets that somebody just threw in a palette. There's no right way to look at it. It's just all jumbled up, colors that shouldn't sit beside each other, that are stuck beside each other. It's an interesting palette concept, and volumes 1 through 4 now are set up all the same way. They are all beautiful palettes. So that was my palette with the best memory. Okay, the next one is number 10, palette worth the hype. Now, again, I had to pull from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. It is the Conspiracy palette. If you have watched my channel, you know that I spent 10.5 hours trying to get this palette on launch day. I did not get it, but a sweet friend of mine was nice enough to gift me this palette. So, Stacy, anytime I can say thank you, I'm going to. This palette was totally worth the hype. Beyond the beautifulness of the palette, just in general, it broke records. It will be in the beauty community history books forever and ever. People that never purchased Jeffree Star products purchased this palette. People did so many giveaways with this palette. It just now came back into restock, and the people that couldn't get it are finally getting it. So I love this palette. I do love Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I'm a little biased there, but it's a beautiful palette, and it was definitely worth the hype. Number 11, show your palette that was not worth the hype. So my palette that I have that was not worth the hype, that everybody hyped up, is the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. This is the Moroccan Spice palette. Now I have tried to make this palette work. The palette itself is beautiful. She did an amazing job on the detail work of it. But the colors, oh, I have the hardest time making this palette work for a reasonably good eye look. And you wouldn't think so looking at the colors. They are beautiful colors. The way that it's set up, this container like kind of magnetizes your eyeshadow. So when you use it, the powder that comes up gets all on here, and then it goes into other eyeshadows. So I don't feel like this palette was nearly worth the hype that everybody was giving it. Again, like I said, it is just my opinion. You might think that this is the most amazing palette in the world, and you are free to contact me on IG and let me know your secret on how you use it. Number 12, favorite palette from a favorite brand. Now, I know that y'all are just going to be totally shocked that it is from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Like I said, that is one of my favorite makeup brands at this moment. Has been for a while. So my favorite palette from my favorite brand is the Jeffree Star Alien palette. Now, this palette is discontinued, but it's just a beautiful palette. Outside of the aesthetically pleasing outer cover, the inside is just as extraordinary. The colors in here are amazing. I think this Area 51 is the best purple ever in any palette I've ever tried. When I want a deep dark purple, this is the purple that I go to. Even having the Bloodlust, this is my purple. And this alien color, it's my favorite green. His formula is great. If you have ever tried Jeffree Star products, they're amazing. So there is that purple, and there is that green alien shimmer. Absolutely stunning. All of his palettes are absolutely stunning. And there is staying powder. Power. His colors do tend to stain. As a makeup channel, beauty channel, I am aware of that. I spend 90% of my life with stained eyelids, so it's not a big make it or break it deal for me. But it's just beautiful. If you have this palette, hold on to it, treasure it. And if you don't, Macari and Poshmark are out there, you missed out on a very, very amazing palette. And then number 13 is your most used palette. Now, I had a hard time with this one because I tend to use all of my palettes at some point. But there are those palettes that you just reach for over and over and over again. And I couldn't just pick one because when I use this palette, I always pair it with another one. So my palette I reach for over and over again is the ColourPop Ooh La La palette. And I always put it with the Smoke Show by ColourPop. These two palettes make a beautiful look. And then I put the Meant to Be palette in with these three. Oh, breathtaking look. If you don't experiment with your makeup, ladies and gentlemen, do so. Try out colors. Nobody sees you until you turn that camera on if you're a channel. Nobody sees you unless you leave the house. Experiment. Try new things. Step outside your comfort zone. It's fun. And if you don't like it, it's makeup. It washes right off. So ColourPop Smoke Show, which this name has changed. It is now Blowing Smoke, I believe, is the name of this palette. And then the Ooh La La palette. Both of these are beautiful palettes. And I love to pair these two together. The pink and purple with the gray and black. And then you throw the Meant to Be green in there. Oh, breathtaking, stunning eye looks. I am very excited to get Jeffree Star's new cremated palette and try it with this. While I like this one, the grays and blacks come off a little blue, which I don't have a gray and black palette in all of the palettes I have. Cremated is on its way, but as of today, I don't have that palette. I love the color gray. You can do almost anything with the color gray. And if you're scared of black, gray's the way to go, baby. So I can't wait to get that and try it with this one. But for what this is an amazing palette. So my most reached for palettes, they would be these two. It's just a stunning, stunning look that you can incorporate with these two palettes. And then you throw the Meant to Be green in there, or even the Meant to Be and the Smoke Show. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is the questions, or the show your 1 through 13 questions for this palette tag. I had a great time doing this tag. It was something different. It is going around YouTube, so of course, like I said, I did want to jump on it, and I get to talk about my eyeshadow palettes. Of course I want to do that. I will leave all of the channels that I named, Samantha March, ALLIE GLINES, Smokey Glow, and THERESA is Dead, down in my description box. I will also leave the questions down there. If you would like to do this tag, I tag you. The more the merrier. It gets people to actually look through their collection and see what they're using, see what they're not using, question themselves on why they purchased this or why they didn't purchase something else. I enjoyed this tag, so thank you for watching. As always, please do give me a like if you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, give me a dislike. I'm a big girl and I can handle it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? I would love to have you. Come join the channel. We are growing every day. If you're new here, hi, I'm Becca. We are a beauty, makeup, unboxing, review, get ready with me, try on girly kind of channel. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, so you'll be notified of all my videos. And that's it, guys. That is my video for the day. Thank you for coming by. Do share this out. Let's get this palette tag bigger than it is. It needs to be. And until next time, y'all stay beautiful. Bye, guys.